I doing now? Alright, I think I know. Klei messed up this patch so badly. Klei is just not good at balancing, honestly. Playing their games for so long, this game and Invisible Ink, their balancing has just never been good. They're good at creating character experiences and interesting characters and interesting gameplay, but their balance is awful. It's always been acceptable though, because like certain characters have always been overpowered, but it's within like acceptable ranges. And if you don't care about it too much, it doesn't really matter. Like Wigfrid, I don't care about too much. He's really broken, but it's acceptable. Her playstyle is fun, I guess. She has interesting perks compared to other characters. It's Wigfrid in ROG, not Shipwrecked. Invisible Ink balance was horrible. There were like 2 really OP characters, and then everyone else was average. Average or bad, I should say. Yeah, Don't Starve is a great game. That's why I'm still playing it. And I trust that Klei will fix these issues after early access. That much I'm never gonna actually question, but the method of patching, where they change things and nerf things, as well as like basically how they go along with their overall philosophy of creating these character experiences, it has its issues. I've never done anything like large scale, but I have an idea of what development is like. Oh, whoops. Right. Looks like neutral terrain, but it's not. The thing about this patch is that I feel like they actually released it prematurely. That's one of the main issues I have with it. If you're gonna release a patch that's actually like full-on something, instead of something that attempts to fix something while breaking everything else. Right? Why is there a clockwork thing near me? Give me a second, I'm gonna kill this stupid thing. And then that stupid thing over there. Captain Deadpools, thanks for hosting. Oh, there's 3 of them! What? Why are there 3 of them near my base? Alright, you wanna fight? Sorry, guys, give me a sec. It's not just this tall bird invading my territory now. It's some other trash in the sea. I'll talk about what I don't like about the patch in a sec again. I already talked about a lot of the stuff, but not everyone's here. It's just non-stop, endless. Endless garbage everywhere. Alright, let's take care of this. Hi there. Alright, we have about 30 seconds. Okay, what do I not like about this patch? Sandbags having HP I'm okay with. I don't mi- Get the hell out of my base. Well, I guess this fixes WX's problems. Some of it. I guess he's not universally the worst character ever now. Okay. Give me a second. Let me deal with all this stuff before I talk about stuff. This is ridiculous. Oh! Shh! I forgot. I can't do that anymore. That's something they changed. I'm okay with that change, though. Bring it on! Come on! Come on! Get the hell out of my base. Oh my god, you too? Really? Do you want to fight? Wow, that was exciting, wasn't it? Why are they invading my base? Huh. Interesting. Interesting. They invade my base now. Is that for real? Alright, just give me a second and then I'll talk about what I don't like about this patch. This is so ridiculous. There's just so much trash everywhere. Let me just get back to my base. I'm gonna go over the patch notes little by little then. This is pretty good. Okay, I think it's pretty cool that they kind of invade you now. It's kind of like getting raided by pirates. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But seriously, get off my turf. Alright, let's see. Patch notes. The new craftables are good. The bottle I don't think is very good. Changing sand into bottles because... I guess I'll show you why. Because in the late game you have too many bottles. But early game is good. I think that's okay in the early game. Let's see. Volcanic rock strike damage significantly reduced. Someone said it was 300 damage. I'm okay with that. Volcanic eruption duration reduced, but intensity increased. I'm also okay with that. Because the first 10 days or so of the volcanic season was super, super easy. And the last 5 days are still pretty easy, or they were. Volcanic rock strikes damage the player while in a boat. We talked about this earlier. I said that this was a good change because it's kind of cheap that when you get hit in the boat by the volcano strike, you take zero damage. So being able to take damage in a boat is okay. I also mentioned that the number of times I've gotten hit while in the water by a volcanic strike was like 6 or 7 times probably in 800 days. So it's not very often that you get hits. Plus, they increase the duration between the volcanic strike warning and the actual impact. So you have more time to react now. So I feel like this is a very good change. It's gonna be overall better. I'm just skimming down here. Let's see. The other stuff I don't really care about too much in the world section. I'm looking at the patch notes on the forums. All right, swordfish damage increase. That's okay. Now if you get hit, insta kill with cargo boat. Yeah, but the thing with the cargo boat is that you use it to gather items instead of like long-term stuff, long-term exploration, uh, combat. So the cargo boat is not meant for battle. It's like saying, well, the freighters that carry stuff overseas are not suited for battle with the battleship or something. One is for one thing, one is for the other thing. So now that there's some diversity between them, um, people might be incentivized to use the cargo boats in the other 3 seasons, maybe 2 of the seasons, the calm seasons, um, autumn and spring, and maybe not as much in the rough season, the windy season, because your HP goes down really fast if you get hit. So I feel like that's what they're trying to go for. Whether I agree with it, it's okay, I guess. I'm not against it, but I don't really like it. Well, I've been attacked by sharks. The thing is, when you're playing the game at a higher level, you know when the hound wave is coming. And people who have been watching me for however long, they know what I do whenever that happens. It doesn't happen. Unless you are poorly prepared for that, or unless you get into a really terrible situation that's most likely you created by yourself, it's not going to happen. Though the chance of that happening now is going to be higher, but I'm okay with that because there's a risk involved. If you actually keep timers uh, on the on the hound waves, then you're okay. Yeah, 300 damage might be high. Okay, that much I can agree on. Maybe like 150 to 200 damage, I would say is okay. Because you don't get damage reduction on boats, you just have a ton of health. So maybe they can reduce the damage. That is something they can do. But in terms of, if you say like, okay, if I get hounds and I get the volcano strikes at the same time, well, you got to be prepared for that. You have to actually know when the hounds come and when the volcano strikes come. This is something that players, I know there are other streamers out there that don't understand this concept. So it's even though you may have seen it elsewhere being a problem, it hasn't ever been a problem for me. Though I do recognize that when you get hounds and you have the volcano striking at the same time, especially at the end of the season, when it goes really crazy, there's a very high chance for you to die. And that's really scary to me. But so far, I've been okay with it. I mean, it's not all luck if I survive 800 days, right? Every single time, is it luck? Okay, let's go down the patch notes a bit more. Sea hounds drop hound teeth. That's good because in the early game, I think they're kind of hard to get. So that's a pretty cool change. Palm tree guards still have ridiculous melee range, like infinite melee range, so they never fixed that. The wandering thing, I don't really care too much about. They can wander all they want. Wild boars are more aggressive. I haven't fought them yet, so I can't really say anything about that. Maybe I'll test it out. I know they snore now though. That's pretty cool. Floaty boaty knights spawn in the world more often. They also raid you in like batches of 3 or something. That was pretty interesting. That caught me off guard, seriously. West now mime paddles. That's really cool. For people who play West, that's actually amazing. Hunger drain reduced while poisoned. Okay. Poison is like an early game issue only, if anything at all. Boat lantern degrades slower. Okay, I guess that's good for me when I'm trawl netting overnight in the harsh season when nighttime is really long. Trawl nets and boat torch gated behind the science machine. This is a pretty cool change, especially for the trawl net. But in the long run, it doesn't really do much. The boat torch, on the other hand, taking 2 boards to make is just stupid. No one's ever going to make it now. They're just going to go straight into the boat lantern. Although fireflies are really hard to get because you have to gamble for them, so you may be forced to use the boat torch, but then even then, I don't know if you would ever use it because it's so expensive. Poison enemies no longer spread poison on attack. That's both a good thing and a bad thing. It means that you can't farm rot as much as you could before, but it means that you actually get the meat drops now. How did people manage playing WX with limited gears? They didn't, really. WX was by far the worst character. Because every season, except for the dry season, you're wet. The calm season only a little bit. Wetness plus lack of gears made him really terrible. Yeah, sometimes you just hold the sail, hold the torch and have a sail. It's cheaper than 2 boards, right? That's what I did early too. And well, thing is, in the previous patch, I would have made the boat lantern for sure because I didn't know about the boat lantern and like boats in general when I started out playing, as you can probably see from the YouTube episodes if you watch them. But now, for sure, I think I'm going to be holding the boat torch. I mean the regular torch, not the boat torch. Poisoned enemies now move slower, attack less often, and deal less damage. So poison weapons like the poison spear, the poison dart, they're not actually completely useless now. That's a very good change. Sand can be refined into empty bottles. I talked about that one. Let's see. All right, I guess that's it for the patch notes. But there are other stuff that I haven't covered. Weber sucks at base building again, just like in ROG. So in this game, basically all of these sandbags are useless if you have spiders around. So before all my spiders were in this little corner here, this prevented them from going down to the pigs, prevented them from going too far this way, where the tall bird is, where my base is. Sometimes they would still wander, but like it generally just prevented them from moving around. And now you can't do that because when I got into the game today, they started breaking down like all my sandbags. All my crabs over here that I collected are loose now. Still have to deal with that eventually. Probably can't even deal with it today because I'm running out of time. And I'm planning to move everything away into this area, the spiders. The other thing with the sandbags is that if they can be destroyed by the wind, then you can't make a base. So from the very beginning of Shipwrecked, what I was thinking was Klei / Cappy don't want you to make a base and don't want you to survive for a long time. They want you to play nomadic. They want you to kind of stop and go a lot. And having like an elaborate base is not good for you because everything gets destroyed, resources are limited, a whole bunch of different factors that really deterred you from making a big base. Though it didn't really stop me at first. Now, on the other hand, I think that these sandbags are going to be completely garbage because once the wind starts blowing and everything just blows against it, they actually get destroyed, which is really bad. So if you can't build a base and there are no bosses The whales are still garbage, I think. I haven't killed one yet, but we'll see what happens. I don't think they're gonna fix the whales dropping like 3 seaweed sometimes, like a bunch of really crappy gear. So that's also gonna be an issue. The late game is gonna be gone, which basically makes it so Shipwrecked, in its current state, is by far worse than ROG. Stone walls get destroyed by wind. There's a reason why I never actually go down here during the windy season. Because if I go down here and it starts like, hailing and whatever garbage gets dropped in here, and the wind blows it, all the monkeys get loose because the sandbags, they don't actually block anything. The sandbags don't block the monkeys from escaping, so the monkeys get loose if the stone walls die. Which is why I never come down here. Now, nothing holds. So, what's the point of having a base? What's the point of using the sandbags? Sandbags don't stop flooding. You can't see the puddles if they bug up. For like 5 to 10 days, at least, you don't see any puddles. And then all of a sudden, you get this giant puddle in your base. So you can't counter puddles with sandbags. You can't wall things with sandbags. You can't do anything with them now. The issue they were trying to fix was the issue with fire trapping, which, like, I never did it anyway. I didn't really find it fun. Like, I actually like hitting things, and not just sitting there. If I do sit there, I want the spiders to be killing them and me not being within range of them, so I can actually do something and not waste time, like base building. But at the moment, like, none of that stuff actually matters at all now. So this patch seriously just ruined the game. No, you can put one sandbag in the middle to stop flooding. But here are the issues with that. If it bugs up, like it's been doing for the last, like, 300 days in this game, and I'm assuming it's because I have too much stuff in this area, and they can't, like, they don't fully generate the puddles properly or something. I don't know. If that's the issue, then you don't see that little teal square to put the sandbag on. You just see nothing for about 10 days or so, and then you see a medium-sized puddle. And then when the rain starts, the medium-sized puddle immediately grows. So you get a puddle about half the size of the one you currently see here, just instantly in this area, in the middle there. The other issue is that if, let's say, the puddle forms right under here, or right under here, or like in the middle of some kind of structure that I built. That was always the problem. Sandbags not really being practical, because if the puddle forms underneath a structure and you hammer it down every single time something forms, well then you lose stuff. You lose supplies, you lose time, and you lose the function of the item itself. Again, this is going towards that, them not wanting you to have a base thing. So there are some really big issues with the game at the moment, and this patch failed to address that, and this is flooded now. Awesome. The lack of counterplay in this season is what makes it so difficult. Whereas in the Volcano season, I've never, like, ever since, like, day 200, I've never actually found that season to be very difficult. Even after the first time, it wasn't very difficult. Because what you do is, if you don't have the ability to make a floral shirt, which you should, by day 100, even by the first Volcano season you should, and you don't have a chilled amulet, you can use the mangroves, and you can just, you know, slide along the mangroves getting shade, because they're essentially trees that provide you with shade. With the shade, plus even one item that gives you some kind of cooling mechanism, you can survive summer with no problems. And then you just chill on the islands, hop back out into the mangroves. Like, there are ways to deal with summer even in the early game when you don't have a ton of items. So that counterplay was always there. But the puddles never really had real counterplay. It was unintuitive and not reliable. And also, we were talking about this earlier. I'm not sure if everyone's here, but the turf issues. There's no such thing as a neutral turf below the turf you dig up. Apparently, I guess it all just considers it beach turf. But the thing with beach turf is that water actually washes up when the tide goes up. So if you look at this area during like a full moon or something, you can see water washing up this way, but it doesn't wash up this way. If you replace this turf, if you place turf on top of it, the water still washes up because it's still considered beach in the code or something. So they have a specific area for the beach, yet for some reason the neutral turf when you dig up other areas is not considered the same kind of neutral turf as ROG, where you can just place whatever you want on it. So this is why I have this meadow turf here, so I can plant these. I'm okay with them making it so you can't plant on magma turf, but they need a neutral turf as well. Oops, I forgot the rod. It's early access, I understand that. But I don't think they should ship out a build without considering what could be wrong with it. They're fixing a lot of stuff, they're patching stuff, but they're also breaking stuff at the same time. I'm guessing they changed something in the code to make it so neutral turf is beach turf. But beach is still beach, so that's... I don't know. We'll find out eventually, I guess. Whether it's a bug or oversight. A couple days ago, someone asked me, do you prefer ROG or do you prefer Shipwrecked? And I said that I probably prefer ROG, but I think Shipwrecked has the potential to be more fun. I don't think that anymore. This is not fun. All of these issues, I think, though, can be managed. I think that you can learn to deal with all this garbage that they're doing. And I'm okay with it in terms of like gameplay, but like the overall philosophy of the game should not be this, what it currently is. So they need to fix it. They need to patch it. Let's see, what was he doing? What was he doing? Sandbags. Oh yeah, the floaty boaty knights. Let's wreck them hard. Time for a new world? It doesn't make a difference though. Same issues will still exist because I can't make a base, right? The late game of Don't Starve that I enjoyed the most was base building. But right now, base building is not really good at all. So for the people who just like survived 1 year and they're like, yeah, I beat the game, you probably don't care. But for people who actually like to build a base and have fun with it, and farm stuff, decorate your base, this is actually an issue.